I have a need for speed. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today we're beginning a new story. A story of cyborgs, a story of death race, a story of the Petrol Head. If you're a fan of post-apocalyptic stories, then stick with it. If you're not, stick with it because it gets crazy. Now, let's begin. Our story begins with a machine, a robot, a sentient robot who seems to like to smoke, paying respect to someone who he held dear. But the thing is, the humans don't mess with them. They don't like the patrol heads. The reason why, we will get to find out. But yeah, he wasn't supposed to be in this sector. They were going to punish him with a bullet to the brain if he didn't move. Thankfully, he was here to simply pay his respect. As soon as he was done, he just stood up and walked away. This guy used to be a star. Petrol Head used to be a racer, and a very good one at that. You see, back then, he used to take part of the races that used to be watched by every single person that lived on this planet. It was an event to behold. But as much as he loved to race, this race was still a death match. People died, or should I say, robots died, back to back. But it was easy to look away from it because one, it wasn't your people. And two, they were practically worshipped. I mean, these events were televised, merchandising was going crazy, and most of all, it was there to help the people live, to forget that they live in a world that is dead already. I mean, the races were destined to succeed because a powerful AI was overseeing the whole event, planning who wins and who loses. And the patrol head was never supposed to win a race. Always, it was supposed to be won by the hybrid, and the hybrid knew it, so he was cocky. But the patrol head, he wasn't going down without a fight, and I mean that literally. He didn't mind cheating, using extensions to hold on to the hybrid's car. The hybrid screamed in protest, "You're cheating, that's not allowed." But the patrol head didn't give a shit. With the click of a switch, he blew up the charges in the tip of the cables, blowing the hybrid off the course. He had taken the win, and the fans didn't like it. You see, patrol heads were the heels. They were made to be hated, but he didn't care. He was winning. But homie must have forgotten one of his charge didn't go, and he was still hooked up to the corpse, the car, the wreckage of the hybrid. That shit pulled him back and caused his car to crash out. At the control room, they just saw their top two candidates crash out, so they wondered who was going to win, only to find out it was another patrol head, the oldest model patrol head. Our guy didn't mind though. I mean, as long as the hybrid didn't win, he was cool either ways. But he noticed something. As the older patrol head was getting closer to the finish line, it was seeming more and more unlikely he was ever going to cross it. Because as he passed, as he reached the threshold of the finish line, he started to celebrate. But our patrol head noticed he passed the trigger, and he knew what was coming next. Everything goes according to plan, and the older gentleman blows up. Our patrol head couldn't even fathom this. This ain't right. Just to follow your ridiculous script, you keep killing our kind over and over again. We are just toys, entertainment for the human populace, and I'm done. He quit. The hybrid was confused. What do you mean you're done? This is what you do. This is what we do. You're a racer. But before he could even give chase, reporters crowded him, so he had to talk to his adoring fan, while our patrol head simply left. He said he was done, and he meant it. He was done playing games for the overlords. He was done being a tool. This is when we finally understand who he was mourning in the beginning. He was mourning his chief. He was mourning his friend. This is the world he is forced to live in. A world that is cold. A world that is metal. But as usual, in stories like this, he's not the only one going through stuff. A little girl named Lupa and her father, one of the smartest men left alive, were left observing the world because her father was going to find a way to fix it. Because as he put it, nobody could live outside. No human could live outside. So he invented nanotech, the technology that's going to be able to help turn it back, to help fix the weather. Because he doesn't see this path as a very good path for himself in the future and the rest of humanity. He had no choice but to find a way to fix the world. But the thing is, he was being overseen by the AI. Right on time, Elder Eye came to check on his progress. He was keeping an eye on him, seeing how far he's going to go with his research. And as soon as he heard that his research was making progress, he smiled. Good. Turning to Lupa, saying, your father is going to save the world. But even his daughter knew this guy was creepy. He told him to back away from my kid, son. And he said, okay, I'm just going to head back and give my report to the supercomputer, which is the Big O. That's what they call him, the Big O. As soon as he was gone, he looked at his daughter. Yeah, something has got to change. Fast forward to 2 months in the future. We follow this scrapyard where robots go to die. We see a cybernetic bird that used to be perched on Petrol Head's shoulder. He was just on his own being stalked by a cat, but the cat must have not realized that it was cybernetic, because as soon as he got close, he zapped it. Like, back off, son. I'm not your dinner. But Petrol Head didn't much care for all of this noise. He had to stay focused. He was building something that was really freaking illegal. Because in this world, if you're building a vehicle, yeah, that's a no-no. In mid-build, he hears an explosion that rocked the floor. He looked to find out what it was, asking his bird to go check it out, but his bird didn't want to. All of a sudden, he hears a rocket in his garage. Stepping forward to go take a look, he gets hit with a beam of light. 5-0 had arrived, and they were tracking a fugitive. They told him, comply or be destroyed. We want to search your garage. Knowing full well his vehicle he was building was illegal, he said, I'll search for you. And he found the fugitives. They begged Homeboy not to snitch, but he is loyal to himself. He snitches ASAP, and the guards come running. They ask her straight up, where's the nanotech? And she said, I don't know. My father needs a doctor. Where is the nanobots? Talk or we will hurt you. And that is when Petrol Head said, nah, you won't. She's just a child. But they didn't care. Back off, son. We have been authorized by the Big O. We could use deadly force if we want to. The people must be protected. But she said, nah, that's a lie. This is not freedom. We are prisoners here. And the robot just turns around and smacks her right in her face. Yeah, Petrol Head said, what the hell are you doing? Are you insane? They told him, back off or we will destroy you. But he said, who the hell do you think you're talking to? Punching one of the robot's head clean off. They shot and shot, but he was practically bulletproof. He charged ahead and tore them to pieces. He was like Batman, if Batman was a robot. But he didn't need to even destroy this last boss because Shorty destroyed him herself. I mean, she drove Petrol Head's car, but you get the point. She was absolutely terrified while driving this beast, but her father was proud. Petrol Head, however, was not. Move, kid. This is my car. Finally realizing that they were absolutely surrounded, he just said, move over. She looked at him and said, what are you going to do? And he said, what I do best. I'm gonna drive. And yeah, this comic is wild.